Ladies and gentlemen, how about some breaking New York Jets news?
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
According to my podcast co-host, ESPN's Rich Cimini, the New York Jets are signing wide receiver Tim Patrick. They have agreed to terms with the veteran wide receiver who visited the Jets earlier today. He played in 16 games last season for the Jaguars, caught 15 passes for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. Veteran presence in the wide receiver room with inside, outside flexibility. So, Rich, the first to report, the Jets have added a veteran receiver. I actually talked about this earlier in the show, that the New York Jets need to probably add one more veteran receiver, because right now it's just Isaiah Williams and Arian Smith behind Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, and Omar Cooper Jr. So Tim Patrick's a veteran. He's been around. He's a pro. You don't want him starting 16 games for you, 17 games for you, but can he fill in if there's an injury to one of your first 3? Yeah, he could fill in and be okay. He's obviously someone that the Jets have some familiarity with. Darren Muji was with him in Denver. Aaron Glenn was with him when Patrick played for the Lions. This is an acceptable signing. We don't have the financials here, but obviously it's not going to be for a lot of money. My guess is it's under $5 million. It's probably under $4 million. Like Josh Reynolds got 2 point something last year. It's probably around there. But here's a veteran. Again, caught 3 touchdowns last year. Like, no problem. 6'5", 210 pounds. Big body wide receiver. I think it's a good signing by the Jets. I don't think it cost them anything. I don't think they were going to spend big or bring in a big name. I didn't think Odell Beckham Jr. was in play for the Jets, or DeAndre Hopkins. Even a guy like Keenan Allen, I didn't think was going to be in play. But I have no issue with this guy. I think it's a logical move, and it fills out the depth chart for the Jets. And again, you don't want Tim Patrick to have to play for you. But if he does have to play for a game or two, he's at least, a viable backup in the league. He suffered some injuries in his career. Like, he missed all of 22 and 23. He tore his ACL, and then as he was coming back from the ACL, then he injured his Achilles. So he's still kind of coming back from those injuries, if you think about it. He lost 2 years of his prime due to injuries. He didn't get to play in his age 29 or 30 season. He was with the Lions in 2024. That's when Glenn and him overlapped. Started 9 games that year, appeared in 16, had 33 catches for 394 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then last year with the Jaguars, 24 targets, 15 catches, 187 yards, 3 touchdowns. Again, this is an acceptable, wide receiver 4/5 signing for the Jets in their move. And I'd imagine this is probably around $2 or $3 million. Here's how this goes. I'll lift the curtain. When a reporter gets a story like this and the financials aren't in the deal, that means the agent does not want it out there. They would want it out there if the guy was getting paid a lot of money. So my guess is that Tim Patrick probably didn't even get $3 or $4 million. He probably got close to whatever the veteran's minimum is, just looking at his numbers. So we'll see what the actual money ends up being. I'm going to guess it's $2 million or less, because I just know how this works. The agent would want it out there if he was actually making any sort of significant money. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Tim Patrick, added by the Jets. Will Parkinson tweeted, made too much sense. Solid veteran depth addition. Familiarity with Muji from his time in Denver. Best 2 years were in 2020 and 21, where he was a 50-plus catch, 700-plus yard wide receiver, quality 4/5 option. So, Arian Smith, you're no lock to make the team, buddy. Better earn a roster spot, because your roster spot is not locked in. That's how I'd look at this. David, super chat, in the raffle for 4. David's a Lions fan, so this is a great perspective on new Jet wide receiver Tim Patrick. He says, Jake, my take on Tim Patrick from 2024 with the Lions is that he was an asset on third downs in the red zone and as a blocker, good team player, has difficulty getting separation and man coverage, wasn't used on special teams. Oh, he's 6'5", 210. He's a big dude. And the Jets have been inept in the red zone, so it can't hurt. Again, I think he's a perfectly capable number 4, number 5 wide receiver for this team. They need some depth behind the top 3 guys they have. That's it. That's what you want to see.
Here we go. Don't miss out on the biggest and best meetup of the year. Saturday, July 11th, Atlantic City, New Jersey. HQ2 Beach Club. We're taking over, baby. At 12 p.m., it's the Gangrene Beach Club. Hosted by some of your favorites. Jake Asman, Rich Samini, Brandon Tierney, Fireman Ed, Connor Hughes, Antoine Staley, Brian Costello, Ryan Sampson, Zach Rosenblatt, Will Parkinson, Frankie B, Omari Brown, Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, Ryan Delaney, Richie Marula, Robbie Sabo, Dom C, Joe Blewett, Nick Faria, Paul Boy Green Esden Jr., Bree Martinez, Dick Shine, Tyson Roush, and more surprise guests to be announced. Get your tickets now. Must be 21 or older. Host subject to change.
All right, Asmaniacs, listen up for a second. No matter what you're watching, whether it's New York sports or any game you didn't plan on caring about, there's no better way to stay locked in than with PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy made simple. You're just picking more or less on player projections. That's it. No complicated lineups, no nonsense. Just you versus the numbers. And here's why I love it. Even if it's a game you normally wouldn't care about, once you got a lineup going, you're locked in. Every play matters, every drive matters, every at-bat matters. I've been mixing sports too. Maybe a little football, throwing some baseball, maybe some basketball, and now you've got action across the board all night, and PrizePicks makes it even better with features like early cash outs if your picks are hitting, the ability to mix multiple sports in one lineup, and you can even see what other people are playing and tail their picks. So if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, it's HMA on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right.